Howdy folks, and welcome to Shane's Book Club, which consists of only one member, yours truly. I know what you're thinking right now, and the answer is yes, that is a fake fire. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's dive into today's book, Likeonomics by Bhargava. In Likeonomics, Mr. Bhargava tackles what he believes to be the biggest problem in the world today, the modern believability crisis. It is his belief that people no longer inherently trust one another, affecting the fabric of society and thus the business landscape. Realizing that this idea is not a new revelation, Mr. Bhargava focuses Likeonomics not on the concept that trust is important, but rather he focuses on how to rebuild trust by simply becoming more likable. That seems easy. I'm a pretty likable guy. Mr. Bhargava brings in the term likability gap to describe decision making based off what want versus need. Because the line between need and want is gray, several true stories are used to bring to life the likability gap. Personally, I enjoyed Ocean's 11 in this because that's a great movie. A gap that Mr. Bhargava believes can be bridged using the 5 principles of Likeonomics: truth, relevance, unselfishness, simplicity, timing. The remainder of the book details each one of these principles and how to successfully apply each one to real-world situations. While I agree with the concept of the book, I do not believe that simply being likable will ultimately lead to running a successful business. I often find myself doing things that I do not like simply because I must. Generally, this is a result of various factors or constraints that are outside my control, which have forced me into an unlikable situation. For instance, I cannot imagine a scenario in which I would like to go to the emergency room, but yet there have been several instances which I have found myself sitting in that sterile, all-white waiting room, listening to the mind-numbing hum of vending machines. And I always want a snack, yet I don't want to touch anything because who knows how many germs are on there. In a perfect situation, Mr. Bhargava's theory of likability would be implemented and the hospital would be chosen to avoid these unlikable factors. But the fact of the matter is that there are often other factors that influence decision-making. One of the biggest factors that influences decision-making is habit. In an article published in the Journal of Physical Activity and Health, habit formation characterizes many daily decisions, allowing for more time to be allocated to other tasks. However, Mr. Bhargava, who describes habit as a powerful force, only references habit as a small factor in the element of timing. Mr. Bhargava fails to realize the importance of habit in the consumer's purchasing decisions. There is no better place to examine this than my morning routine. Let's look at my morning routine. It consists of waking up, showering, getting dressed, and picking up coffee before going to work. This routine is nearly identical every morning, Monday through Friday, the days I work. The question then becomes, do I stop to get coffee because I like coffee, or because I have a habit of getting coffee before I go to work? In my case, it may be more of a necessity. I mean, honestly, no one wants to be around me in the morning if I haven't had my cup of coffee. Habits tend to form a much stronger bond than just simply liking something. John Tomer describes a person's consumption habit as a lasting attribute embodied in people, which is developed by 3 factors: past consumption experience, formal and informal training, and external influences. Thus, I get my coffee in the morning because of formal training of my morning routine, and I usually choose to get coffee from Starbucks because I like my consumer experience. Based off Mr. Bhargava's theory of likability, I should purchase my coffee from Starbucks every morning as it ranks highest on my personal likability scale. However, there are times when I end up purchasing my morning cup of joe from a different vendor. This brings in the final factor of consumption habits, established by Mr. Tomer: external influences. External influences will almost always factor into the decision-making process. For example, I own an umbrella for one use only, traveling in the rain without getting wet. Unfortunately, I store my umbrella in the trunk of my car, rendering it useless almost every time I need it. Without the external factor of rain, I have no use for the umbrella. Thus, if the external factor of rain was eliminated, I would never have any reason to have purchased said umbrella. Mahmoud Nouri suggests that an increase in environmental dynamicism or uncontrollable factors is accompanied by an increase in the extent of rationality in the decision-making process, which was published in an article in the International Journal of Academic Research in Business and Social Sciences. Whew, that is a long title. In other words, it is much easier for me to rationally explain purchasing and using an umbrella than it is for me to explain why I chose to buy my coffee from Starbucks instead of Quick Trip. With all of that said, I must say that I found Mr. Vargava's lesson on likability refreshing and enjoyable. While I do not believe that likability is the sole answer to a successful business, I do agree that many companies have lost their touch with their human element. Presented with a choice between an unlikable company and its more likable counterpart, I will always choose the more likable company. Unfortunately, there are often other factors, such as habit and external forces, that may force me into a less than likable situation. And that'll wrap her up for today, folks. I appreciate you taking a break from listening to What Does the Fox Say for a few minutes to listen to my thoughts on Likeonomics. Have a great day.